This was the apocalyptic scene as a UPS plane came crashing down at Muhammad Ali Airport in Louisville, Kentucky. A fireball erupting as the plane made contact with the ground. 13 people have died, including a child. 3 of the people who died were on the plane. The rest of the deaths occurred on the ground. We're getting new information tonight about what was going on with that aircraft in the weeks and months leading up to this crash. We know that the plane was a 34-year-old McDonnell Douglas cargo jet. It had undergone 6 weeks of extensive maintenance at a facility in San Antonio, Texas, which wrapped up just under 3 weeks back. The NTSB was asked about those repairs just this afternoon.
We are aware that this aircraft was there in San Antonio. We have actually started to pull those records down. We have a specific group that has experts in not only maintenance but repair, job cards, and all of the requirements of that. We're currently downloading that information and going back, and we will actually, as part of the investigative process, we will go back even further from that to get additional pertinent details about certain inspections and checks based on the age of the aircraft. And we will move forward and we will look at every piece of maintenance that was done, even from the San Antonio time all the way to the date of the flight.
We should mention there is no consensus among aviation experts that the plane was too old to fly. But there's little doubt there were major mechanical issues going on under the hood. The left engine literally fell off the wing upon takeoff. The plane came down just moments after it reached an altitude of 500 feet. Here's a satellite image. It shows debris half a mile long, with the plane destroying everything on the ground that was in its path. Joining us now is someone who is not only an aviation expert, he is an actual Airbus pilot. He has amassed a big following online. Vincent, or Vinny the Pilot, as many people know him, join us tonight. Vinny, welcome.
Thank you, Hannah, for having me. Good evening.
Of course. What do you make of the new details we learned today? Anything surprising from the NTSB?
Surprising? No, not really. First and foremost, I'd like to extend my condolences to all the victims, all those parties involved. And unfortunately, I think this, not just the circumstances surrounding this accident, but the images that we see are going to leave an indelible mark on not only the aviation community, but really the entire general public. As far as the age of the aircraft is concerned, I myself fly airplanes regularly that are over 25, 26 years old, but I don't think necessarily we need to look at the age of the aircraft. For instance, the military has really, really old planes. They're still flying in service. The KC-135, the B-52s, 50-plus years old, right? Generally, the civil aviation, 737-200, 76-200, Airbus freighters, they're over 40 years old. So I think what is going to be most germane, and you just showed the images of Todd Inman this afternoon at the press briefing describing, is what transpired during those 6 weeks in San Antonio when the plane was undergoing the maintenance. And I think that's what they're going to comb through. Really, they're going to really dig into that block of maintenance to see if anything there is telling.
As I said a moment ago, the left engine just fell off. As NTSB says, they found several engine fan blade fragments and main components of the #1 engine. What does that mean? What do you think they'll find when they examine the parts? What do you think happened here, Vinny?
Well, look, it's clear the left engine separated from the airframe during takeoff. Now, I think what they're going to be looking for is probably whether or not it was an internal failure of those fan blades or a disc inside that caused the structural failure, which then allowed the engine to separate, or if it was external to the core of that engine. And by that, I mean, did the nacelle separate from the pylon? Did the pylon separate from the wing itself? The pylon is the intermediate structure that connects the engine pod to the wing. So if you think back to American 191 and 79, that pylon separated from the wing and caused a lot of damage, which caused that accident. So I think they're going to be looking at the specifics of how it failed and if the internal failure might have caused it to separate.
You don't think age of the plane was a factor here?
I don't. I think planes, they have an enormous lifespan if they're maintained properly. And like I said, I fly fairly older aircraft, and there are many, many aircraft still in service with many more years on them.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I will assume that the weight of the cargo had nothing to do with it, only because this plane was made specifically for that. It was a UPS plane.
It was a UPS plane. It is a cargo hauler. All AMD-11s now have been appropriated to cargo flying. None of them are in passenger service anymore, to the best of my knowledge. But yeah, they're built to haul heavy loads really far. It's the largest tri-jet in existence.
Vinny, you said you think this crash is going to shake up the industry. Tell me why.
I just think that it's going to send waves through. I mean, when you have images as detailed as this in such close proximity to the scene like this with this much devastation, I think that's going to really reverberate through the industry and, again, just the general public. I think it's horrific and it's tragic and it's sad.
Investigators, we know, are reviewing CCTV footage from the airfield right before the crash. What do you think they're looking for, and what do you think they'll find?
From the CCTV footage that I saw, I think they're looking, again, what I saw initially was that engine had separated. Now, I don't know that there's much that I can gain from that CCTV footage other than the engine separating from the wing and that fire being indicative of that there was nothing to contain it. It seemed like fuel was being poured just into nothing, right? I think that Todd Inman said the FDR, the flight data recorder, which records more than 400 some odd parameters internally, and the CP were both recovered. I think they were both overnighted back to NTSB headquarters, and I think that they're going to be downloaded. He said the downloads were good, auditioned, and they're going to have transcripts sooner rather than later. So hopefully they find some answers as to what happened from inside the aircraft.
Well, Vincent, we hope you come back to talk to us about it. Really appreciate your insight tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.